Hello, before we get started, I just wanted to plug the new podcast that Ethan, Ray, and I started. It's called Don't Even Get Me Started, where we give presentations about things. In every episode, at least one of us picks some random topic and gives a presentation on it. Could be about a video game, could be about history, could be about science, could be about literally anything. It's pretty good. We've got a few episodes out right now that you should check out, with more on the way. The Very Cool podcast isn't dead, but it is on hiatus right now because scheduling is hard. It just got hard to do for a while. Neither of us had time to actually sit down and record it. But I swear, we have things coming. And this one is pretty good, so you should check it out. It's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, so go watch it. Okay, thank you. Time for the video. Bye-bye. Well, Christmas time has come around once again, and it's time to continue our annual tradition of breaking out a terrible, somewhat obscure Christmas movie. It's just what everyone wanted. My original plan for this video was to do it on a movie called Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny, and after sitting through half of it, I've come to the conclusion that I can't do it. I'm physically incapable of watching this movie and doing a video of it. It's probably the worst thing I've ever seen. And that's coming from someone who has seen Fudgy Wudgy Fudge Face, which people defend way more than they should in my comments section. In it, Santa crashes on a Florida beach, summons some kids that really don't want to be there, and then has a fucking fever dream of the Thumbelina story for the next hour. And then maybe Jack and the Beanstalk as well, but I didn't watch enough of it to be sure. The whole thing is a technical nightmare. I know the budget of this probably couldn't buy you a Big Mac, but still, it looks terrible. You can't hear anything, it's incomprehensible, it looks like shit. It's bad, it's a bad movie. Again, I got halfway through it, it's about 45 minutes, and I could not take it anymore. There's nothing to even say about it. It's bad, you can't follow anything, it's dumb, there's nothing to say. I think the whole thing was designed to be an ad for a theme park that doesn't exist anymore, called Pirate World. And if it was involved in the creation of this movie, it deserved to no longer exist. This entire thing is an incomprehensible disaster that is not worth your time or mine. It's not worth talking about more than we already have. I found out about its existence last year when we did a tier list of Christmas movies on the Very Cool podcast, which was pretty funny and you should listen to. But as we did that, we also found out about a different terrible Christmas movie, which is the one we're going to talk about today. I was going to do it next year, but I suppose I'll have to find something else for next year now. This is the Rapsittie Street Kids Believe in Santa, a movie that is marketed like it is part of an established franchise, and this is just the Christmas special of, but for reasons that will become clear very shortly, it's not. This is its own isolated thing. So why don't I show you a very small out-of-context clip just to give you a feel for what's about to come. Brace yourself. You're not ready for this.
Hey, watch me help him. Heads up, Ricky!
Whoa, look at all the ornaments. Hey, Ricky, hang 10.
Go, Ricky, go!
I'm a decorating master, no one is faster. Don't you know I'm a Christmas tree blaster?
Yeah, I see why there's no sequel to this. This movie is an absolute fever dream, and for some reason it has an absolutely stacked voice cast, which you'll see later. The production of this movie is interesting, to say the least. Polygon wrote an article on it that I'll link in the description, but I'll summarize a bit of it. This movie was broadcast on TV throughout December 2002, and this would be the only month that it was ever broadcasted. And after this, it would actually become lost media for a while, until somebody managed to get a copy of it from the movie's director and creator, Colin Slater. The animators on this had no idea what they were doing, as they'd apparently never touched the program they were working with, which was called 3D Choreographer, and apparently the whole program became somewhat lost media for a while. I think this movie is partially responsible for that, because people saw this movie and then didn't want to use it anymore. The animators were also only given 4 months to make the entire movie, so maybe if given more time, I'm sure they could have made it slightly better, but they didn't, so it looks bad. They also couldn't really model or texture anything themselves, and they had to outsource a lot of that work to other people, or use preloaded assets that the program came with. They could, however, make 2D assets in Photoshop and just jam those into a 3D plane, which looks weird to say the least. What? Why are you looking at me like that? The aforementioned director wasn't very helpful either. He just kind of threw money at stuff and hoped it worked out, which it didn't, and he wound up firing the lead animator for saying that the movie wasn't working out. He was also the creator and main writer, and having watched this movie, he wasn't very good at that either. Somehow, this movie was completed on time, and according to the Polygon article, on the initial viewing, the viewing party couldn't finish it, and the director just kind of left halfway through, just driving off into the middle of the night. The composer even said, "I saw my parents die, and I'm not sure this wasn't as emotionally devastating as that," which is one of the greatest and most brutal quotes I've ever heard. After the movie was broadcast, it was never broadcasted again, and it never saw a physical release, for obvious reasons. Like I said earlier, the director was eventually contacted and relinquished a copy of this movie, which was uploaded to Vimeo in 2015. So that's probably enough of that. That's pretty much all the information I could even find on this movie. So let's get into it. It's fascinating, to say the least. Our story begins on an establishing shot of a town that reminds me a lot of a South Park opening, and not in a good way. And we get the opening credits that go on for way too long. The music behind it's weirdly kind of a banger though. Don't get used to the music being okay though, because a bus just pulled up, and a terrible rap starts about Christmas.
I spent the day shopping with my grandma, walking all through the crowded mall, the pump and deck, the halls.
It is here that we get introduced to our main character, Ricky, and he's the one rapping. Is he gonna rap the entire movie? Pretty much, yeah, and I don't really know why he does this. The movie never tells me. We'll see later that most people in town hate him for this, so I don't know why he does this, but he just likes it, I guess. He's just kinda quirky. The second thing you'll notice about him, and that is consistent with the rest of the movie, is that he looks like a nightmare. This is quite possibly the worst looking animation I've ever seen in a movie. This was 2002. Fucking Treasure Planet came out this year. Now, of course, Treasure Planet was made by Disney and had over 200 times the budget, so I would never expect this movie to look anywhere close to Treasure Planet, but this movie is unacceptably bad. Someone looked at this and said it was okay to release. Ricky is looking into a toy store, and he can't afford anything, so he goes home sad and kicks a JPEG of a basketball. He picks up a picture of his mom, who is apparently dead, and he misses her a lot. His mom had given him a teddy bear, and he wants to give the bear to someone named Nicole out of love because he can't afford anything else. Also, Ricky is voiced by the Black Ranger, Walter Jones himself. I don't know anything about Power Rangers, so I don't know how cool this actually is, but if you do like Power Rangers, there you go. You've been validated. We then go to the school, and oh boy, everything here looks like a nightmare too. We're also introduced to Nicole, who's getting a JPEG of a Stegosaurus thrown at her head by Discount Kenny, whose name is Smithy. Also, Nicole is voiced by Paige O'Hara, who played Belle in Beauty and the Beast. This is just the start of a lot of high caliber actors coming into this. I have no idea how they got these people. We're also introduced to who I guess are supposed to be the antagonists, but also, they're not really. They don't really do anything. They're just a group of generic bullies, and one of them is voiced by Nancy Cartwright, Bart Simpson herself, and she's barely trying to not do the Bart voice.
Let's just see what Ricky Rhymemaster can do.
For some reason, Ricky is juggling ornaments, all while rapping, and the bullies say he'll never be one of them for some reason, and then he immediately falls flat on his face. The dinosaur poster in the back is carrying me through this movie right now. Ricky and Smithy are apparently friends, and he tells them his plan to give Nicole the bear, to which Smithy says it's a very bad idea, because she only likes money or something. We also get introduced to their teacher, who visibly doesn't want to be in the movie and hates all the kids, and is really sick of Ricky rapping.
Let's go out and do some skating. You won't catch me hesitating.
That will be enough, Ricky.
One of the most relatable characters in fiction. She's the best character, but unfortunately she's not in it for very long. The teacher sends the kids outside for recess and says that they'll be doing their gift exchange after that, to which Ricky objects to, but eventually relents. Outside, the kids are making 2D snowmen, and the bullies are trying to kill Smithy and take the sandwich he's just carrying around for some reason. This goes on for like 2 minutes, all while Ricky is trying to hit on Nicole, who we learn is an attention whore and doesn't really like Ricky very much, which I don't blame her. The bullies eventually catch Smithy, and you just look at this. Can't even put words to this.
Hang on, Tug! I'm coming!
Look, a tug of war. I'm betting on Smithy.
I can't even explain a lot of what's going on. I just have to show this to you. Eventually, recess eventually ends, and we learn that Nicole is a bitch and only wants expensive things from the mall, which, alright, she's very adamant that it needs to come specifically from the mall. The principal also comes in, and we get this kind of funny joke.
Our little angels are doing just fine.
And then he leaves, never to be seen again. I don't know why he's here. We don't even see the gift exchange, because after school, Ricky goes up to Nicole to give her the bear. Why did you even bring it up? Nicole doesn't like the bear because it's cheap and not from the mall. So Ricky roasts the shit out of her.
You might be smart with books, but you sure are stupid. I give you a real gift, and you don't get it.
Damn, you sure got it, Ricky. But also, like, he knows Nicole. Why did he think this would ever work? He says it's like from the heart or whatever, but like, in what world did you think this would work? Ricky just kind of waddles away, and Smithy yells at Nicole as she throws the bear away. Nicole walks away with her friend Leanne, and they have the exact same walk cycle synced up to the same speed. They didn't even try to offset them. Also, Leanne is voiced by Jodie Benson. Fucking Ariel. How much did they have to pay these people? I guess all the budget went to the voice actors. It wasn't worth it. We then go to Ricky's house, and we see Ricky's grandma outside just rambling to herself.
Oh, see, for the...
You okay, Gam Gam? Ricky is writing a letter to Santa, and he wants everyone in town to get gifts, and Grandma's just having a stroke.
Oh, my baby must be sending letters.
I'll be back in a hurry, Great Grandma.
Always in a hurry.
Ricky, get her to the hospital. Ricky takes the letter to the mailbox, but doesn't notice when it turns into a PNG and flies away, landing in Nicole's yard. And we cut to Nicole herself, who's being a bitch to Leanne.
What do you think Santa will bring you this year?
I don't know what Ricky sees in her, she's the worst. The animation is funny though. Nicole eventually goes home and brags to her mom about how she's the best girl in the entire world, and decides to sing a song about it in her room, all by herself. Spoilers, but it's bad, and it goes on for like 5 minutes. It's kind of ridiculous how long the song goes on for.
'Cause on Christmas Eve, old Santa will see.
Eventually, Nicole stumbles outside and finds Ricky's letter, and after reading it, I guess realizes she was being an asshole? I guess? It's not really clear. We also cut back to Ricky briefly, and he really needs to take his grandma to the hospital.
You just got to for another it.
Isn't that what Santa does? It was from my heart.
Oh, see, for the now.
She doesn't get it.
Also, apparently the grandma is voiced by Deborah Wilson, who's Seer from the Star Wars Jedi games, and that's funny to think about.
Such hatred. You would have made an excellent inquisitor.
She's stronger than that. Christmas. Oh. No.
Nicole decides to go out to look for Ricky's bear, and she finds Smithy and Leanne already looking for it for some reason, and Nicole yells at them to help her find it. My brother in Christ, they already are. The bullies eventually come up and yell at them for a bit, and Bart decides he wants to mess with them. But they don't really do anything. They just kind of leave. Also, Smithy's still carrying around a sandwich. I don't know why. They can't find the bear in the dumpster, so they go look in the basement because apparently the janitor takes the garbage out of the dumpster and he puts it in the basement. Why? Also, Smithy is one of the weirdest characters I've ever seen in anything. He just says things.
Smithy!
I love creeping out creepy girls.
Anyways, they look around the empty basement for a while because new assets are too expensive to make, and it turns out Smithy's actually kind of based.
But I'm definitely going to throw this outfit away. Not to mention have my nails done.
Your nails? Gee, I will never understand girls. Being a boy is definitely better.
They still can't find the bear, so they decide to go look in the junkyard for it. And it's here that the bullies decide to be involved with the story, so they go to the junkyard to try and ambush them or something. I don't know if it seems like I'm really making jokes here and I'm just like telling you what happens, but like, what is there to say? Just look at it. It is insane that this exists. The fact somebody decided to ship this movie just blows my mind. Nope, it's so weird. This movie is just a delight to watch. It's a nightmare, but it's really funny. The junkyard is one of the weirdest textured places I've ever seen in a movie. And, oh no, there's guard dogs, which are these tiny little chihuahuas. Fortunately, Ricky throws his sandwich like it's a ballistic missile directly into the face of one of the bullies, and the dogs decide to follow them instead. I'm so glad they were plot relevant. That's all the bullies do. They leave. We don't see them again. Also, they find the bear placed neatly on top of an old car. I don't want to watch this movie anymore. I think my brain is melting. Apparently, they're on a time limit now and are racing as fast as they can to get to Ricky's house. I don't know why. There's no stakes here. They weren't in a rush before. But they come up to a wall that they just absolutely cannot go around, and they must scale it. And Smithy's kind of based again.
A lady does not climb trees.
She does if she doesn't want to be late. Besides, now is not the time to be a girl.
Anyways, they just kind of hop the wall with very little issue. They just climb over a tree, only to get chased by the guard dogs that just teleported to them for like 5 seconds, and then they're gone. Never comes up again. Eventually, they make it to Ricky's house, and the music is kind of good again. I mean, it's the same track, but it goes hard. Nicole apologizes for being a bitch to Ricky and tries to give the bear back, but he won't accept it because apparently friendship means more to him. Good to see that plot point resolved very easily because we cut to Leanne, who's having an existential crisis about whether or not Santa is real. For some reason, of course Santa's real. Who else is eating the cookies and drinking the milk that I leave out Christmas Eve? Eventually, Leanne's dad comes in and gives her a pep talk, and they sing a song about why Santa exists. Christmas Day eventually comes, and we go to Nicole's house, where her dad is voiced by Mark Hamill.
Oh, our princess has my good looks and your spending habits.
Mark, how much did they pay you to be in this? You already did one atrocious Christmas special. You didn't need to do another. Anyways, Mark Hamill's just kind of walking around his house boasting to nobody that his daughter is perfect and his wife is beautiful. And he's so handsome. I don't really know why. He mentions to Nicole that her grandma has mailed her a present, and it's towards the back of the tree. She finds it, and it's addressed to Ricky? And she says Santa must have made a mistake? But it's from Grandma. They just told me this. The movie's just lying to me now. And also, Santa doesn't make mistakes. We know this. Also, I think they edited this wrong. They just jammed a little clip from earlier in for some reason. And we also get this terrifying shot of Nicole's parents winking. Nicole rushes over to Ricky's place and gives him the present, saying that she now believes in Santa. And then she leaves. Fantastic. I guess this is why the movie's called Believe in Santa, but it's not really about that at all. Later that day, Ricky, Nicole, Ricky's grandma, and Smithy all go over to Leanne's place for some reason, where Ricky decides to sing a rap about Santa.
We can always work things through. My friends, believe me when I say it's true. Belief in Santa is where we start, but what matters is what's in our heart. If you want to know what you can trust, it's that Santa believes in us.
Which everybody just looks thrilled to hear, because we just have to end on that. Also, apparently Grandma never stopped believing in Santa, and this is her only somewhat intelligible line.
Do you know what, Nicole? I never stopped believing in Santa, and you don't have to stop either.
Followed by this.
Great Grandma, you always know just what to say.
Christmas!
Santa flies overhead, which is weird because he should be back at the North Pole by now. And we get a really weird final line.
And a Merry Christmas to all!
Shut that door!
And we end on a very unsettling screen. And of course, as one final terrible nail in this terrible coffin, the credits are over Microsoft Word clip art and is written in Comic Sans, which is absolutely beautiful. It's incredible. I love this movie. But in the last couple seconds of the movie, we get this.
My name's Jenna, and I'll be back with the Easter bunnies.
Finished, done, gone, over. Adios, l'chaim, mahalo, dos vidania. Go on now, the little cartoon movie's over.
The end.
That little girl is Leanne's sister, by the way, who had all of 4 seconds of screen time and like 2 lines, but is somehow voiced by Gray Griffin, who, you know what, just pick any animated project. Alright, there's like a 50% chance she's in it. She's just one final, weird, fairly large name to close this movie out. A sequel tease like this doesn't come around very often and fail as spectacularly. It's amazing. This brings me so much joy. So yeah, that's it. Rapsittie Street Kids believe in Santa. It was an experience, to say the least. It's not good, and I don't like it, but also, I kinda love this movie. It's so completely incomprehensible, and it looks terrible. It's incredible. Don't watch it, but if you want to, it's all on YouTube. It's amazing. I do think that there were potentially some good ideas here. Even if the animation wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, this still wouldn't be a good movie. But there are definitely some decent ideas here. Clearly some thought was put into this world and its characters, and it's very clearly set up for more stuff to come. They clearly wanted to make a lot of these and for people to like this. And I do commend them for trying, but I mean, look at it. There was never going to be a sequel to this. I don't have a lot more to say about this movie. It's baffling. I know I've just kind of been explaining what happens the whole time, but I don't know. I think my neurons are actually fried a little bit from watching this, but I might be delirious, but it's pretty amazing. But I think that about does it for today. I'm gonna go try and actually enjoy my holidays now. Hopefully, I didn't spend Christmas Eve editing this like a madman like I have with Christmas specials in the past, but who knows? Merry Christmas, everyone. Please go listen to my new podcast. Please subscribe, watch another video, and happy holidays. Bye-bye.